We're in the midst right now, and I don't want to overstate this, or I don't want to embellish this. We are in the midst now of a revolution in ideas, a revolution within X, within social media, within those individuals of us who are denizens of this, those who are citizens of this world that we're living in. You are in the middle of a revolution. Everything is changing. All the rules are over with. The good guys, the bad guys, the distinctions between the two have completely been destroyed. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and this new, call it the third party, MTG and Kent and Massey and everybody else, are driving the usual suspects crazy. They pose an existential threat to the people who ran the show. Be excited by this. If you are watching me now and you are someone who never liked me or never liked this or whatever you didn't like, I don't care. Welcome. If you're somebody who was a leftist, a diehard, lapsed Trotskyite, neocon, which is really what they were, welcome. If you're an atheist, welcome. A Jew, a Catholic, a fundamentalist, welcome. I love our differences. Let me say this again. Bring your differences. Are you a socialist? Are you a communist? Are you an anarcho-syndicalist, a Chomskyite? Welcome. Come in. I want to find what we agree with. The rest, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Do you know what I just told you? Politics today is based on division and derision and hatred and anger. And all of a sudden in the past, I don't know when that started exactly, maybe post-COVID and later on, but certainly with, and I'm telling you, Candace and Tucker, nobody wants to say this. Nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to say, could it really be that simple? Yes. Could the Beatles have really been responsible? Yes. Are Tucker and Candace Beatles? Yes. Because the Beatles took everything that was done before. The Beatles didn't add anything new. They were influenced by the same people. They lived in the same part of the world. They loved blues. They didn't do anything different, except they did everything different. Something clicked, their attitude, and they changed everything. I want you to imagine where one day you go into a voting booth and you vote on ideas. When you vote on ideas, well, we don't have primaries anymore. I am a registered, here in New York State, independent. I can't vote in primaries. I vote in generals. I have no political party. Nothing. The parties mean nothing to me. Tucker Carlson speaks with Hunter Biden, and they are going berserk. How are you going to learn anything by speaking to the same people over and over again? So what I say to you, my friends, is just wait for a second. Think about this. Gather around, grab some Java, grab some Joe. Let's sit back and seriously go and talk about something which is so critical and is happening before us right now. And I think the best show on the internet because of you. Not because of me, because of you. I may be a great conductor, but it's the orchestra that makes everything the way it is. And that's you. So sit back, my friends, get ready. But before you do, listen to this critical message from our sponsor. Well, midterm elections are coming. Control of Congress is on the line. And if there's one thing financial markets hate, it's uncertainty. Between now and election day, we could see serious volatility in the markets and the economy. And you owe it to yourself and your family to have a plan. And that's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. Listen to me. For more than a decade, Noble Gold Investments has helped Americans like you diversify with physical gold and silver. They make the process absolutely simple, straightforward, and secure. And for America's 250th, Noble Gold is celebrating by sending you a free 10-ounce U.S. independent silver bar when you open a new qualified account. Just mention Lionel That's Lionel. Call 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. Or visit the special Noble Gold Investments Lionel link below. Election day is coming. Don't let it arrive without a plan. And remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. Have you ever enjoyed being a part of a revolution? Have you ever been that? Have you ever done that? Have you ever been a part of something where you thought, this is great? I remember something. When I went through one of the first major, I was always a little different than usual, than people. Always have it. And I knew that from the beginning. I knew I wasn't ordinary. Well, I should say ordinary. I'm very ordinary in many respects, but I'm just a different things don't appeal to me the way it does others. I'm not interested in what a lot of people are interested in. But something happened to me when I went to high school. I actually walked in. It was at the end. It must have been like August or something. So it must have been like 1971. I graduated in 76, but you go in the 71 and then you go to 72. So, okay. So 2 years had just passed after Woodstock. The Vietnam War was still going on. And music in particular was about to blow up. And I was so lucky to be a part of it. Music was wonderful. This is not disco. It was when the bands, it was everybody from the Beatles were still going strong. Zeppelin had really not kicked. I mean, a lot of these people had not really kicked off like they were later on. It was the nascent period. And it was a chance for experimentation. And it was like an intelligent post-hippie. The Summer of Love was over in 67. This was different. Radio was phenomenal. Radio was great. AOR, album-oriented rock, took over. People loved new things, new people, new styles, new everything. Later on in the 70s, then jazz picked up. Jazz blew open. I mean, the stylists of jazz went crazy. They went berserk because we had this wonderful influx of this tremendous music. It wasn't the usual bebop. It was different. Then cool jazz, and then others, and then country even took over, because country, you also saw the influx, this other revolution of the Waylon Willie outlaw group. Nashville was going crazy. The Opry was going crazy. Name it. And then disco to throw itself in. So, make a long story short, that was music. Then came the end of the Vietnam War, and then came again an adult. It was a time for an adult world. It was experimentation, and it was the more different you were, the better you were. Vive la différence. That is it. And that's me. And I have been in a state of intellectual torpor by listening to this horrid, rancid nonsense. Fox News at one point was so interesting, and now it is an anachronism. An anachronism of what I'm hearing. It has devolved, and granted, there's always going to be a group for that. It's always going to enjoy popularity, but it has devolved into something I don't even recognize. So all of a sudden, something happened. Twitter was around, but with Jack Dorsey, it was basically the I guess it was it's very limited, kind of a tough, very close-minded view of virtually everything. People were not allowed to be who they were. Elon Musk came along and changed everything. Elon changed everything, opened it up, and then we found out from the Twitter files exactly what was happening, and we learned exactly what was happening, and we knew everything that we had suspected. COVID. Make a long story short, we got where we are today. Two things happened bigger than anything, and I don't know why. Remember, I don't know why the Beatles were that big. Tucker and Candace. Don't know why. Again, what's so special about Candace? She's not the first person to be nice or smart. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why the Beatles. What did they do? I want to hold your hand. Why was that so? They wrote their own stuff. Freddie and the Dreamers were okay, but something happened. You kicked in. You came in. And our dear friend says to me to keep killing it, my friend. Thank you. I'm going to keep killing it. I'm doing the best I can because I know what I'm seeing. I know what's happening. And the thing that drove people crazy, number one, the first thing we did was we said, we're not going to ask permission. We're going to, it's almost like when you wanted to date somebody, maybe, I don't know if you've ever happened to you, but maybe you saw somebody that you were attracted to somebody and your parents said, oh, no, and the more they said no, the more you said, oh, wait a minute, you can't tell me what to do. And then the person that you wanted to date becomes more attractive, the forbidden fruit. I've been through this before. I've been through so many of these little revolutions. I remember when the Jesus movement came after Godspell and Jesus Christ Superstar and all of that movement. I mean, there's been these little hiccups and movements. And that's what changes. I remember during the world of, I'm just so lucky to have been born when I was. I remember when we didn't even have Chinese restaurants. We had one Chinese restaurant in our town. One. We didn't have this. And Italian restaurants, sort of. Restaurants proliferated. The idea, we didn't even go out to eat. I saw that happen. I saw what happened. I saw what the microwave did. I saw when families started eating. I've been through this. And I recognize it. And I see what's happening. And sometimes I see the country and our society, not devolving, but the pendulum going back. Something happened after COVID. We went berserk. We did. COVID inspired more revolutionaries than you can imagine. COVID inspired more revolutionaries, people that's what it took. It was the Beatles. It was this. Why is COVID? Vietnam didn't get them. Watergate didn't get them. I don't know what, but all of a sudden, the light went on. Have you ever had a food in your life that you thought you hated? You thought you hated it. String beans or mushrooms, or I had this thing about avocados. I don't know why. Still not sold on coconut. Don't ask me why it tastes like crayon shavings. That's me. Then one day, you're someplace and you say, oh God, what is that? What's that, guacamole? Ugh. Is that avocado? Yeah. Then you say, hey, that's pretty good. What happened? What changed? I don't know. Did your tongue become mature? I don't know. Were you stupid? I don't know. Very rarely do we say, you know what? Chocolate doesn't work on me anymore. We normally add something. Do you see what I'm saying? Life is this constant changing. I remember when country music really hit me hard. I was a late bloomer. I always thought it was so stupid. And then one day, I don't know why. I heard something one time. I remember I heard New Cut Road, which is a Guy Clark song. Bobby Bear did it. Coleman Bonder was a bit of play. I said, this is great. What is this country music? I saw George Jones, changed my life. My point is through all this rambling is that we are seeing something right now. And you are a part of something. You're joining us. You're coming forward, and we thank you for this. We want you to come in. Don't worry about anything. Yesterday we were talking about, and I just can't listen to this Andy Wilson, this just jadrul, this fool. But he was on with young women. I think one was a socialist and one was something, and they were destroying him because he's a boorish churl, and Candace is going to eviscerate him and take him apart. Now here I am looking for these people. I told you, Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur were a part of she was the moiety of the Young Turks. We call them the Young Turks. We had these terrible puns for them because they were just, because Trump did everything and did nothing. Trump came along, while he was fun at first, he immediately he separated everybody. And we're trying to get back because now we have two groups of people. We have one group of people who are saying, on second thought, Trump's not as bad as I thought. And then we have other people who were Trump zealots who were saying, I don't recognize it anymore. So we're coming back. You see what I'm saying? The TDS is boring now because some of us have mild versions of TDS because sometimes he's doing things, especially when it comes to foreign policy, doesn't make any sense. We've got people saying things right now about Israel I never thought I'd ever hear in my life. This, what are you talking about? Because we're maturing. We're thinking for ourselves again. We're thinking. So a couple of things happen. Candace, I don't think you can put enough on what she's done. Not just regarding Charlie. Charlie was a big deal because that's also another part of this. We've never seen a whodunit. The closest thing we've ever seen, maybe you don't remember this, is OJ. I lived and breathed OJ. But we didn't have the internet. You watched the TV show. I was on WABC in the mornings, did the best numbers anybody had ever seen because this is the first thing anybody could ever talk about it. You watch court TV or you didn't have anybody to talk to. And I was a guy in the radio who talked about it for the first time. And they said, what did I miss? And well, now you don't have that. This is the campfire. This is the collective. This is the group chat. This is the back fence or this is the town square. This is where we meet. It's unreal. Then crowdsourcing came along. Crowdsourcing, people who said, listen, I'm a mother. Do we have housewives anymore? I hope we do because we need them. But I'm a housewife, I'm a teacher, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor. I'm a guy I'm a service manager at a Ford dealership. But I have this interesting penchant, this passion for getting to the bottom of crime and parsing videos. I can watch videos. I can slow them down. I have some equipment myself. And then we have so many people who came out of the woodwork who are themselves these marvelous, I don't know what you would call them, crowdsourcers, individual gumshoes and detectives. So you've got people who were just coming out of the woodwork. And then Candace comes along and gave us one time the first dossier of Lori Franz that we've never seen ever. So what I'm trying to say again, and I hope I'm not, please forgive me if I'm boring you because I tend to, sometimes I want to be thorough, but sometimes I think I go too far. I think the point's made and I kind of belabor the point. So forgive me. I will acknowledge that and plead guilty and ask for your forgiveness and expiate my incessant harangue. However, this is where we are now. So Candace comes along and she first interviews Hunter Biden. Now we're supposed to hate Hunter Biden. Do I hate Hunter Biden? I hated how he got away with murder. Let me tell you what people are going to find out right now. Listen to me and listen carefully. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your political background is. I don't care anything. But what the Hunter Biden and the Biden family did, and Hunter in particular, by selling figure paintings or whatever he did in his own life, in terms of making money or being corrupt, will one day, if it is true, not even get near the money. And this might not be illegal, whether it's immoral or unethical, or other people decide, but what the Trump family has been able to secure, and apparently illegally, but it's like nothing anybody has ever seen in the history of our country. So when we laughed at whatever, Hunter, keep your finger paintings, whatever it was, it's a drop in the bucket. And Jared Kushner, remember this. He's under the radar. When you are explained to, when somebody says, okay, let me tell you how this thing works. And not just necessarily, but it explains a lot of our foreign policy. And it explains a lot of what people suspect, I'm sorry to say, regarding Israel. not Jews, not Judaism, not the Jewish people, not the Israeli people, but the Bibi Netanyahu, this current regime, it will blow your mind. And everything, and I tell you this, everything that Hunter Biden supposedly did is nothing compared to this. Now, this is what everybody seems to be going crazy about. This is why, and I don't understand why. This is Tucker Carlson, brother of Buckley Carlson. And what he has been able to do, along with Candace, can't even be put into perspective. Watch this little trailer.
I haven't seen you in 11 years, though I've talked about you. Hunter Biden.
I love Candace.
I do too.
I like Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene. I like that there are people that have kind of woken up.
I have really only one question, one thing that has bothered me. So I just want to ask you point blank, did you drop off laptops?
No, the answer is no. I say to everybody, okay, show me your phone. Because I showed you mine, and you didn't find a goddamn thing.
We get approached by Israelis connected to Benjamin Netanyahu who are shopping this stuff to me at Fox News. The way that it entered the bloodstream of the American media was not real.
I don't have any more secrets. Donald Trump, I think he had such an opportunity, he just decided that all he was going to do was for himself.
One of my closest friends went off the deep end, and all of a sudden Trump's under the bed, and it's like, whoa. It's
he was under my bed. just we are at an inflection point in this country.
What's your plan?
We are in desperate need of leadership.
Now, is he full of shit? Absolutely. Welcome, Bobby Tan Dowd. Bobby Tan Dowd, and I don't care. There's an apple pan dowdy. Doesn't that sound like one of those? Isn't that apple? Was that some type of one of those strange pastry things that we don't know about? In any event, is he to be trusted? Nobody's to be trusted. Nobody. Burisma, yeah. Bobulinski, Kobol, yeah. I understand that. But don't think like this. Don't think there is a litmus test. Don't think there is this rule that says, well, you did this before, so what? This may not be of your liking. This may be before your time. But one of the greatest presidents in terms of foreign policy is Nixon. Nixon, especially, watch Nixon after he's in office. He has an ability. Here's one for you. Kissinger. Kissinger, people, you have to hate him. One of the biggest intellectual frauds ever is, Christopher Hitchens. Absolute, more bombast than anything else. And what was it that we loved the most? His British accent. Everybody's got their thing. Everybody, but he said some great things. But I don't have to. I will select this, and this, and this. Let me explain to you. Some ideas are like coriander. Some things are like cilantro. I know people who cannot eat cilantro because it tastes like soap, and that's it. But they're not going to throw away Indian food or Mexican food because of coriander or cilantro or five spice or allspice. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. It's ridiculous. But somebody says, oh, I don't like Chinese food. Why? Because I don't like five spice. I don't like MSG. It doesn't work like that. I'm begging you, forget you're not a member of the club. You don't have to vote on these people. Nothing. There are some songs, I swear to you, musicians where I'm thinking, I really like that. Everybody's got, my wife and I were listening to Madonna, Ray of Light, phenomenal song. Whether she sang it or not, it's a different story. Do you see what I'm saying? Absent yourself. Lose everything about a party. I don't care. And also, do me a big, big favor. Stop using words like God, country, flag, guns. No. Be a person of faith. Enjoy your faith. Recognize your faith. Be imbued by your faith. Your faith keeps you alive. It's the spiritual help. But do not exclude other people who do not share your faith. They're not crazy. They weren't born where you were born. They don't live where you're from. People who were born in the 30s think differently than you do. Not because of their age, but because it was a mindset. Look, I don't want to lecture you. I don't want to go through all this stuff. But let me explain to you what's going on right now. This is the time of our life. And Tucker Carlson is driving people crazy. And the funniest one are these people who get foisted upon us. One of them is, I love this, Laura Loomer. Now, you know and I know, this is funny. Laura Loomer, let us review her for a moment and stop for a second. Don't make jokes about how she looks. Don't make jokes about anything else. Yes, we know she's had some mental health issues. Yes. Okay, fine. Let's talk about her position. This position of this person called Laura Loomer. What is she? Number one, she is somebody that can be created out of nowhere. She is somebody who can be created out of nowhere, who all of a sudden says, welcome. This is a person called Laura Loomer. Now, you may not remember this, and I tell people this a lot of times, but there was I've got to get a picture of her. Rula Lenska. My wife says, are you going to mention Rula Lenska again? Yes, because I learned a lot of things from pop culture and what I grew up, growing up. Alberto VO5. I watch TV assiduously. Maybe, I don't know if you did. I don't really do it anymore. I watch other things, but I don't. And all of a sudden on this Alberto VO5 commercial, she goes, hello, I'm Rula Lenska. I remember asking my mother, who was always hip to it, I said, who's Rula Lenska? She says, I really don't know. And I meant to say, well, isn't there kind of an implied contract that we have with people? That somebody says, by the way, this is so-and-so, that they should be of renown? Yes, one would think that, but they're just telling you she's somebody. And she goes, but I'm out. And she was like they showed her signing autographs. I said, who the hell is Rula Lenska? I don't know. My mother says, stop asking me. I said, but you can't just say, here's Rula. That's one thing if you can say, here are the Beatles. You got to listen to the Beatles. You got to like the Beatles. They just didn't show you and say, this is the Beatles. They're going to be number one. You got that? No. And Laura Loomer is the Rula Lenska. All of a sudden they said, here she is. Who is she? X is doing it. She's really smart. I would interview Laura Loomer in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. People would love it. I would do so much prep, psychological prep on it. But wouldn't you love to hear this? Can you imagine? What would you do to hear Candace interview Erica Kirk? What would you give? What would you give? I would give anything for that. Erica Kirk, I would give anything. I would love me to interview her because I am a frustrated analyst, psychoanalyst. I'm a frustrated philosopher. I'm a frustrated shrink. I'm a frustrated physician and chef and everything else. Excuse me. And I think she is one of the most fascinating people, bar none, because we've never, ever truly had her. The other day, they put something on we believe is AI. Because it was lucid. I swear to God, in a heartbeat. People would say, if you could go ask anybody else, if you could talk to anybody in history, whom would you select? People would say Jesus Christ, maybe Jesus Christ. I said Hitler. You like Hitler? Of course not. You don't think it'd be interesting to talk to Hitler? To see, is this guy human? Serial killer. Serial killers to an extent because they're very duplicitous. One time in 1930, 40, Time magazine was debating, or maybe they did and they withdrew it, selecting Hitler as Man of the Year. And they explain, Man of the Year doesn't, it sounds like it's a kind of a tribute that is positive, but it wasn't. It was who has done the most. Have you ever seen something, remember in math, it's called absolute value. Absolute value is where you had you have the 4 with the 2 lines next to it, and it determined magnitude. 4. The absolute value of 4 is the same as the absolute value of negative or minus 4. It was magnitude. Direction meant nothing. Left, right, good, back, positive, negative, didn't matter. What's the magnitude? Anything that has a 4 behind it has this magnitude. It's 4 times the number of 1. That's what these people are. And all of these people, I would love to go back, strip Trump of his family, his connection with AIPAC, Adelson, I don't know what they did. Epstein, everybody. I don't know. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But there was a glittery, gleaming, beautiful moment when he was finally the political savior. He was the most exciting thing I've ever seen. And then I don't know what happened. I don't think it's by his own device. I don't know. I don't know. I can't. He doesn't really, we don't really know him. Nobody's ever talked to him because people like Hannity and others, they're so sycophantic. They're bootlickers and lickspittles and toadies, and they're these obsequious, fawning, acolytes. Oh, yes. I don't want to do that. But I want to know what people are about. These people are so interesting, irrespective of what's going on. You don't get to be Joe Biden by being some schmuck. Joe Biden, his prime, was a very skilled politician. Later on, it was bad. It was bad news. It was very, very sad. So I think we understand this. Absent yourself from this. Remove these labels. You don't have to like anybody. You don't have to vote anybody. You don't vote anybody. But listen, watch what Laura Loomer is doing. Be critical as an observer of politics. Ask yourself, what is happening right now in my country? What is going on here? How do we determine who's in charge? What's the future? Tucker Carlson, for the first time, is, I think, involving himself in what is something which is fundamentally, how do I say this? Fundamentally, I think, conservative, very strong Christian ideology, no doubt about that. And he is to be listened to. Let me ask you, do you have a friend of yours or anybody in your family, maybe a relative, a child, a sibling, or whatever it is, who is considered a leftist? Do you have somebody who is, and I know people, and I have had the rare occasion of knowing a Marxist and a dyed-in-the-wool, probably a communist. But the way a communist explains this is that communism is an ideal. You try your best for that. I know it's kind of strange, but because communism is when you won't need socialism anymore. It's the pinnacle. So when you ask him, "Are you a communist?" He says, first of all, no, I'm not a member of the party, or he will say, no, ideally, but that's where I'm headed for. This is a smart person, rational person, loves the United States. I said, but how can you be a communist or whatever you are and live here? He said, because I want things to change. Are you happy with your government? No. Would you like to change something? I said, yeah, but I don't want to undo the Constitution. So you meet these people. But I've learned more about what I believe in by talking to him than in watching Fox News. The only way I know what I believe in is to talk to people who I disagree with totally. Absolutely. Now, if you were here for the first time, and by the way, If there's any first timers, please always let us know you're a first timer here in particular, because we welcome you. And I love to see what made somebody come here, what made somebody, whatever it is. I find that fascinating, because we're kind of like a little, kind of a miniature political party, so to speak, in a strange way. That's kind of what we are. We're like a political party, so to speak. But we're all different to an extent. But the thing that brought us, at least initially, I think, was the idea that Charlie Kirk did not deserve to get shot down like a dog in the street and left to die. And he doesn't deserve being abandoned by everybody, from his wife to his friends to his organization. Charlie Kirk is, to me, this focus of, I got to do it for Charlie, for nobody else. This is just not fair. It's every now and then you'll find something. This may be a poor analogy, but not really. There was a police department one time who found this little girl. And this is before DNA. Maybe they could find her now, but she just was abandoned. And the police gave her a name, Baby Matilda or something. I don't know. And they bought they had a service for her. They didn't know anything about her. It was a white girl. They didn't even know. I don't even know the level of decomposition. But the point is, the police department said, we've got to get, and they never found out who did it. But this little girl who was just tossed like rubbish, they, by virtue of celebrating her, giving her a funeral, giving her a grave, giving her a name, they had artists trying to, what does she look like? And it's how you pay homage or homage to somebody posthumously. You're saying you may have been destroyed. They may have desecrated your body, but your soul, we're not going to let go. I've always thought it was interesting. And these police, just every year they have a birthday party. They artificially came up with a name. Anyway, that's what Charlie is. Do not confuse yourself. It's not about Blake Neff or whoever these people are, that jerk off Andy Wilson, or that's they've got nothing to do with that. It's not even about Candace. It's not about anybody. It's about Charlie. This man, they just said, somebody said, I'm taking him out, and we're taking him out. And a bunch of people did this, because you don't do this overnight. You don't do this on your own. You don't say, hey, I'm Tyler Robinson, and I'm going to pull off the shot of history. And no. And people in my generation, we were raised with John F. Kennedy. We were raised with this. And we're saying, we're not going to let this happen again. And that's why we're here. Don't let anybody fool you. It's not about Erica. It's not about the widow. It's not about that. It's about the fact that this guy, how do we say this? We believe enough in people, and we believe enough in somebody's legacy to sit there and say, no, we're not going to buy this. No, because we've got something which is different. First of all, we have manpower you can't believe. We have people who are standing by who are just absolutely indefatigable. How they do this is something I've never seen before. It blows my mind. There are some, and I don't know if you know these people's names enough, if you ever come across these names, but there's a Project Constitution. Project Constitution is just unbelievable. Project Constitution is just follow them. You cannot believe this. Then there's a fellow named Sam Parker. He goes on X as Based Sam Parker. Unbelievable. I'm serious. They are so dedicated, so focused. I've never, and to look at him. I don't know what that always sounds. It's not good when somebody says to look at him. I don't know what these people did before, but they're just incredible. And then we go down the list. Baron and Candace and others as well. And then this group pulled people from every group there is. Let me stop and say something. America is led to believe that if you're a woman, if you're not white, you need DEI, or you need some type of little help up because you're going to be at the back of the bus, the back of the, Candace, excuse me. I can't speak for you, but I think I know what I'm talking about. First, people will say, she a woman? Yeah. Yeah. Is Candace a woman? Yeah. Oh, okay. Is she a great female? No, well, yeah, but that's nothing to do with her. She just happens to be a female. Is she black? Yeah. She never talks about it. She doesn't wear it. By the way, that's a mob term. Excuse me. There was a guy. Excuse me. I don't have a cough button here. I'm sorry for that. There was one. I'm not going to mention his name, but they said he wore it. This guy was. There are parts of New York I can take you. And you can say, wow. Go to San Gennaro. Next time there's a feast of San Gennaro, go there. You will say, him. Straight out of Central Casting. The mob, they wear it. I don't know if they are, but you'll see them. Excuse me. Candace doesn't wear it. She's a woman, she's a mother, she's black. Never comes up. Nisi, I think somebody told me she's Canadian. Black, female. Does it matter? No. Cassia, very good. Delia Fredo, she's Polish, living in Cyprus. Woman, female, mother, wife. Does that matter? No. She's not even an American. Doesn't matter. It's her quality. Colin, Baron, go down the list. Aaron. So what we're saying is, if left to our own devices, if left to just, we have our own sense of worth. If you're good, if you're interesting, come on board. You can be anybody. You can be Siamese twins. We don't care. We don't care about your setup. We don't care about your set, your gear, your rig, what you wear, where you live. You can be in the front seat of your car. What are you saying? And people will not watch that just because they're popular. No. They're popular for a reason. Let me say that again. The people that you watch, you don't say, I got to watch this guy. Well, I watch this Candace. Do you like her? Not really, but, so many people like her that no, it doesn't work like that. No. You see what I'm saying? And this scares the hell out of people. Because the left, socialist left, whatever you want to call them, who believe in things like DEI and other, they're saying, now we're supposed to be, you ready for this? Ready for this? I've been called this, I don't know if you have, a white supremacist. I don't even know what the hell that means. I think, and I also argue, if you're a white supremacist, so what? You could think you could be a white inferiorist. Doesn't matter. It's an idea. It's a thought. So what? Okay. Why are we watching Nisi and Candace and Colin? Why? We don't care. There is no white supremacy. Maybe there is, but no. And we're supposed to be conservative, which is a name I hate. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a liberal. There's no name for this. If you say, "Oh, is this cilantro?" Oh, you're a cilantrist. What? Yeah, you're a cilantrist. What does that mean? You believe in cilantro. No, I don't. I use it. These labels don't. That's why Tucker comes along. That's why he's destroying this. And that's why people like Laura Loomer, by the way, who has been apparently hired, we don't know by whom, but everybody is saying Israel. We don't know this. But it would seem to make sense because I've never seen somebody who is so steadfast. She meets with Zelensky. Trump, are you in on this? She's speaking on behalf of you. Have you ever heard of the Logan Act? Why is she meeting with Zelensky? President Trump, do you know about this? Yeah. Is this part of some condition of your blackmail? Yeah, well, kind of, sort of. Why is she there? Why is she there? She absolutely tried everything to derail Candace. Candace just ignored her, saying, look, it doesn't really matter. She tried now. She's going after. I don't know what she's trying to do. But she's going berserk that Tucker is interviewing Hunter Biden. What about the laptop and I'm thinking, what do you care about this? Do you see what I'm saying? Let me back up. The rules are over. The left-right is over. The parties are over. I don't care whether you like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what she said. You don't have to like her. Don't like her. I like what you're saying now. I don't care what you said before. George Wallace. Do you remember him? Governor of segregation now, segregation later, and avowed racist of the first stripe. Segregate a severe white nationalist, white supremacist, white whatever it was. Later on, I believe it was a great, and he put up a fight. He was a very serious until Arthur Bremer got him. He was running with Curtis LeMay. Curtis LeMay, who was going to bomb either Vietnam into the Stone Age, one of the most bellicose war hawks of the. He and George Wallace, remember, of the Green Party? What? Yeah. They just said, what does that mean? I don't know. They want you to think like this. We're not going to do this. Oh, Edie Crowley, please follow Lynn's Warriors. Absolutely. Edie, you're the best. Can't say that enough. You can't believe, listen to this. Just as an aside, you can't believe this. My beloved wife is, I've never seen anything like this ever. She is under attack. My beloved, my sweet, my beautiful wife, who wouldn't hurt, so nice, never raises her voice, never curses. And she's from Jersey. This is serious. Never. She's like the most mild-mannered, dedicated to kids. There's listen to this, there's this new bill, whatever, this new policy, that's going to put bathhouses in New York. This is her link. This is her link on please follow her on YouTube. I got to tell you this one. Bathhouses. These people who went crazy, who wanted to deny you of the ability just to live normally because of COVID, they're bringing back bathhouses, which is going to reintroduce epidemics and viral swarms and witches brew of every kind of conceivable STD you can imagine, because this is part and parcel of the gay. I'm not kidding you. Oh, and this somehow helps trans. And the trans people are saying, why do we need bathhouses? We don't know. So there's this group of people who are trying to introduce this. They also want to lower the age of consent because these people want to make New York the sex tourism capital of the world, of the United States. This is their avowed reason. They want to have it like where you have girls and children. You think I'm kidding? You think this guy's out of his tree. I'm telling you, this is systematic, along with a concomitant move on the part of big tech to destroy parental autonomy, parental primacy, parental authority over kids, and to take your kids and make them addicted to screens and algorithms. So she and others of brave people have met and worked. So somebody somewhere, some bot, some farm has her targeted, and they come after her for saying nothing more. And this is her, and I ask you to follow her, Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. I'm asking you to do that because I've never seen anything like it. This is not about good. It's not about evil. It's not about left or right. It's about common sense to protect children. You want to open. I live in a world. I think I told you this. My wife and I, the other night, went to eat this great little place in Jersey. Kind of a funky place, right in Tony Soprano country. Caldwell's, where Tony Soprano supposedly lived. Anyway, right near the Grover Cleveland birthplace on Bloomfield Avenue, right there. Anyway, so when I went to the loo, I came back and I looked down and said, "Oh my God!" There was a sticker that said, "Please keep 6 feet away." I guess they couldn't keep it up, or they didn't want to take it off. And I said, "Do you remember what they did? Do you remember what they did with us and how they destroyed our life regarding that? Do you remember that? Do you remember what these people did? These biomedical tyrants? Do you remember this? It was tyranny. Yes. And they want now to introduce bathhouses. They didn't want you to be. Now remember, this is something which was, well, nobody really knew about COVID then, but they didn't want you to go to funerals. People died alone. Proms canceled. Football games canceled. Years of development canceled. Kids with masks. Kids who lived during this critical part where they never saw an expression. They thought nothing of this because of the remotest of possibilities. Even though kids, their immune systems were so robust, they wanted to introduce, let me say this again, bathhouses. You think there's going to be some kind of a condom police there? Bathhouses? Do you remember? My wife in particular could tell you, she remembers in the 80s what AIDS looked like here, especially in the theater district, when you saw people walking around. Anyway, so this is what she's addressing. And these people find it problematic. They find it problematic. Bathhouses. Bathhouses. You can't make this up. So is this the left? I know some left folks are saying, no. Don't sign me up for this. This trans business is still at it at the WNBA. Did you see that guy? What's his name? NCN, whatever he's from, his name. He changed his name to Freedom. He's 6'10". He weighs 250 pounds. He's a man. And he said, I'm going to join the WNBA. It's brilliant. Because Sophie Cunningham and others are talking about this because of this insanity. And what they will do is they will pick something. They will pick an issue that is so abstruse, so nuts, so devoid of anything even remotely resembling common sense, and they will habituate. See, habituation is a critical concept. Habituation is when the psychological construct that states that when novel stimuli lose their novelty, like if you put on a watch for the first time or some article of jewelry, you're not used to it. And then when the signals keep going to your brain, after a period of time, your body says, we're going to habituate to that so we can pay attention to other novel stimuli, like that car, like the car brakes screeching, a car careening out of control or whatever. We want the baby crying. If your baby's crying in the next room, but you're still focusing on this watch, when you put on your socks, notice you feel them for just 10 seconds, and then you don't feel them anymore. Still there, but this is habituation. So what they want you to do is they want to habituate you to common sense issues. They want you to be able not to react. So they pick up the most absurd notion, namely men in sports. It's the most absurd. There are a lot of issues you could say, well, maybe. Should gay people get married? I've always said, absolutely. Under the law, civil law, maybe not in churches, that's a house rule. Absolutely. Gun control, that's an interesting case. Open carry permits, okay, we can debate that. Abortion, we can debate that. There's something at least there. But men, did you see this one? Was this French basketball player? This guy's a Hulk. It's absurd. It's abstruse. It's convoluted. They want to habituate. So this is what they're talking about. And there's no debate. This is where we are now. And it's not the left. It's what they want you to think the left is. I don't know anyone. Listen, as far as trans people in society, okay. Trans people serving. Remember that dude from, was it Delaware, who was they kind of talk like, I guess he's a congressman. Nobody cares anymore. Remember that? Can he use this bathroom and that bathroom? You might argue, okay, that's voting. All right, okay. But this? Drag queens in children's school? Wait a minute, what? What? Little kids don't even understand that. What are you doing? Oh, you're right. No. And this has been hijacked. The left has been hijacked by this. So there are people on the left who are saying, we didn't sign on to this. We have kids too. I don't know what this is. So you see what I'm saying? We need to return to common sense. And if it takes Tucker and Candace and MTG and other people, I'm all for it. Our foreign policy is ridiculous. What do we care about? Who gives a shit about Iran? Anybody? And when I say that, that's a very broad brush. I realize that's a very, very kind of a all-encompassing statement. But I don't care about Israel or Ukraine or Algeria or China. As long as they don't hurt us, I don't care about this. It's called triage. Okay. I wish them well. Have a nice day. I'm not going to give billions of dollars. Why? And what they do is go after your speech. So some very smart people said, we want to do for the word anti-Semitic what they did for the word racist. Anytime you brought anything up, anything, no matter what it was, you'd be called a racist. If you dared bring it up, if you dared for a moment to say something, if you said, I think maybe the black community needs to have a problem, but you're a racist. Why? Because it was a black subject. And people went along with it. They went along with it. Oh, I don't think there should be women or men, rather. You're homophobic. No, we're not. You're transphobic. No, we're not. You see what they did? So we've done this thing with the word anti-Semitic, where people say, excuse me, what do you call somebody who's a Ukrainianist? What if I'm not for Ukraine? What is that called? It's not Russophobic. It's Russophilic. These names don't mean. Do you see what's happening? And let me speak for you. You're tired. You're a good person. You don't mean anybody any harm. Live and let live. There's a lot of you that might be, noblesse oblige, laissez-faire, whatever you want to refer to it as. You also believe, many of you absolutely believe in this notion of, I want to use this word carefully, kind of a libertarian outlook. Ginger Mama says, Viva is heterogeneity. United we flourish. Viva la, excuse me. Yes. Heterogeneity is wonderful. Thank you. Heterogeneity is wonderful versus homogeneity. Heterogeneity is what brings us together in terms of cultures and food and music. And yes, in New York City, our beloved New York City, whatever you want to say about it, if we drove you around, I don't know where you live, but if you like to eat, I will blow your mind. Because you cannot believe how we have been so blessed. If people say, well, what do you want to come to New York for? Theater? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Food. The food. And that can only be done by having people from other countries who enter this country legally. All of us, I think I can speak for you, say, of course you're entitled to be here, but you have to follow the rules. I mean, how is this even remotely subject to debate? I don't go to France and say, I'm staying here. And by the way, not only am I staying here, I'm not going to learn French. And I want an EBT card. And I want to have free, insurance. And I don't want you to be able to remove me. And if you do, if you call your version of ICE, I'm going to have people come and protest my removal. This is the thing that gets me. I wish everybody would say, hello, my name is so-and-so. I'm in charge of customs or ICE enforcement. If you come to this country and you assimilate and you become part of a neighborhood and you raise children and you've lived here for generations, but you never became an American citizen for all those years, green cards and visas expired, you just figured, I'm loved. I'm Pepe. I'm the waiter. I'm the guy in the neighborhood. My daughters went to college. My son's a doctor. That doesn't matter. This may sound heartless. I don't know where you got off with this idea that after a period of time, say, oh, he's been here for a while. There's no statute of limitations. No other country would do this. My question is, why in the hell have you never done this? Why? Now, are some ICE officials acting? Oh, yes, some are brutal. Some are unnecessary. Absolutely. Same thing with cops, same thing with teachers, same thing without a doubt. But you have no right to enter our country. You have no right, especially when you're going to flood and swarm into areas. And let me also just say this, and I'm not one to be, always the Cassandra, always, with the admonitions and, oh my God, the end of the... We, America, the Republicans, are going to lose big time in midterms for a variety of reasons. A change, Trump fatigue, whatever the reason, who knows? 2028 is what they want. If they decide to win, we are doomed. Dan Dangler says, another month with Lionel and friends. Thank you, dear Dan. What a good man. Dan Dangler, dangling. Get ready. They are sitting back and they are waiting for the chance to unleash, unload, and to take over. And if you think I'm exaggerating, you're out of your mind. Let me tell you something. Very, 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 very simply. This, my friends, this is a war. Am I exaggerating? No. This is a war. This is done, whether it's because of Soros, globalists, whoever's in charge. This is a war. And they are wanting to unearth, upend, and reverse our way of life. When I mean our way of life, I don't mean Americans. I mean rational Americans, rational people, people with families and jobs, people who want to be left alone, live their life, have virtually unfettered freedom so long as it doesn't affect anybody else. You are an immigrant. When did your descendants come to the USA? You are an immigrant. Oh, my family. Oh, my God. It's hard to say. They're all legal. All of them are legal. Immigrants are wonderful. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Every one of them is legal. Every single one. It was just nobody came here and worked hard, Father's side, mother's side? Absolutely. Favorite pasta dish and restaurant? I got to think about that one. That's an excellent. By the way, if you were in New York, may I just say, go to Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. It is an oasis. Ginger Mama says, should Candace Owens give that ultra crepidarian the time of day? Yes, of course. Oh, absolutely. If you're talking about the Andy Wilson, the debater, oh, without a doubt. The sniz. I don't want to go through that again. It was so profound, and I apologize for doing this. I just wanted you to hear what a jerk he is. Oh, absolutely. Let me just go back and say something. Immigrants are phenomenal. Immigrants are wonderful. Wonderful. We are a country of immigrants, without a doubt. Legal. Nobody's against immigrants. Let me tell you something, how we missed that. Nobody is suggesting, nor has Candace ever suggested for a moment, that, and this is critical, that Erica Kirk ever killed anybody, or Erica Kirk was responsible for her husband's assassination. Nobody. It never happened. It never happened. Never. Just like people are saying, well, you're against immigration. No, I'm not. No. You see how people will I'm not saying you're doing that, but people extrapolate that. So let me just tell you something right now. Monday, Tucker Carlson is getting under their skin because he didn't ask permission. You're not supposed to talk to Hunter Biden. Why? We say that. Who are we? We're in charge. That's number one. Candace was not supposed to talk to Anna Kasparian or Hunter or anybody else. The rules are over. Sorry, MTG, you're out here. No, we decide that. Massey, Kent, whatever, you're involved. You're in this, excuse me, you're in this realm. You're in this arena. You're here. You're not going to tell us what it doesn't matter anymore. And America needs something drastically different. And it's not going to be perfect. You're going to say, well, I don't know if I like this part of the platform. I don't know. But whatever we're doing right now, it's not working. And there are people like Tucker and others who were saying we're going to declare ourselves independent of this. And I think it's about time. And so many people love this. And I just leave you with this thought. I don't want a third party. I want a second party. I don't really want a party, but the left-right paradigm is an illusion. Carol Quigley talked about this, Tragedy and Hope. It's two sides of the same coin. They're identical. There might be a few little differences here and there just to keep things interesting. But essentially, and the ultimate threat that will hit us is we are living in a surveillance state right now, the likes of which you cannot even imagine. And AI, don't let ChatGPT fool you. Don't let some grok image. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about artificial general intelligence, and I'm talking about something which basically one day will change the course of everything. That's it. Period. End of discussion. So, my friends, this is a beautiful day. It's about, we have a heat warning today, one of these heat warnings. Please follow Mrs. L. This is her. Go to this link right here. It takes you right to the sign-up page and subscribe to her at Lynn's Warriors. What is going on right now? The Kids Online Safety Act, KOSA, is now heading for what? The Senate or the... No. Yeah. They have been fighting for this since day one, behind the scenes, to protect kids, not to destroy your ability to enjoy the internet, not your ability to enjoy a multiplicity of ideas, but to protect children. And this has finally made its way. And she has been, you have no idea. And they're coming after her. Who is it? Big tech. You can say what you want about AIPAC. I understand that. But nobody is as treacherous and as moneyed as big tech. Nobody. My friends, I thank you. Have a great and a glorious day. Thank you for your contributions. Have a wonderful and glorious day. Do something fun today. Do something frivolous. Do something you haven't done in a long time. Something you used to do when you were younger. Go to a park. Go walk around. Just perambulate, locomote, peregrinate, move. Do something different. Go to a movie. Go to a concert. Go see live performance, live, whatever. Do something different. Every day, try to do something you used to connect with. Connect with things that make you feel happy. that are legal and don't really hurt anybody else. That's all I want to say. In addition, my friends, thank you for this. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. Always, always important. And thank you immensely. Thank you for being a part of this. You are my, this sounds corny, but it's the truth. You are my family now and have been. And I'm so honored to be able just to take time out to speak with you for an hour and 10 plus minutes about what I think is important. And I would venture to say you agree as well. Have a great day, my friends. And don't forget this final valedictory. The monkey's dead. Show's over, Suya. Da.